There's a clock ticking inside your legs right now. Not the kind you can hear, but the kind that's counting down to something you never saw coming. And every morning, you wake up after 60, that clock ticks a little faster. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you might be the most important thing you hear all week. Recent groundbreaking research from leading scientists shows that if you don't take action, you could lose up to 33% of your leg muscle strength in the next decade. This isn't a possibility. This is a well-documented path that millions of Americans are walking right now without even knowing it. But here's what's truly frightening. The biggest culprit is actually a simple habit you do in the first 60 minutes of every new day. You're unknowingly hitting the fast forward button on your own aging process. And the scariest part, most people have no idea this is happening until it's almost too late. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Picture yourself 5 years from now. You're reaching for something on a high shelf, and suddenly your legs feel like they're made of cotton. Or you're walking up a flight of stairs, and halfway up you have to stop and catch your breath. Not because your heart is racing, but because your legs are giving out. That's not old age talking. That's something called the silent shutdown, and it's stealing your independence. One morning at a time. Now, before panic sets in, take a deep breath with me. This isn't your fault. Nobody taught us about this. Nobody warned us. What we're dealing with has a name: sarcopenia. It's the silent thief that visits millions of American seniors every single day. And it's been operating in the shadows for far too long. Think of your body like a house you've lived in for decades. It's been good to you, weathered many storms, and kept you safe. But every night while you sleep, something interesting happens. For 8 to 10 hours, you're not giving your body any building materials. No fuel, no supplies. So to keep the house running, to keep your heart beating, and your brain thinking, your body has to get creative. It starts borrowing materials from other parts of the house. And after 60, it begins taking those materials from the very foundation that keeps you standing strong: your leg muscles. Here's why this matters more than you might think. Your legs aren't just for walking. They're your body's largest muscle group. They're your metabolic powerhouse. They're what keep you steady when the ground is uneven, what help you get up from your favorite chair, what carry you to your grandchildren when they run to hug you. When your body spends all night in what scientists call a catabolic state, essentially breaking down muscle for fuel, it's like having a contractor come to your house every night and quietly remove a few bricks from your foundation. You don't notice it at first. The house still stands. But over months and years, those missing bricks add up. This is why breakfast isn't just a meal for people over 60. It's a signal. It's you telling your body, stop tearing down, it's time to build back up. But here's the crucial part that most people miss. Not all breakfasts send the right signal. In fact, some of the foods we've been told are healthy are actually making this problem worse. Your morning meal is like a switch that can flip your body from breakdown mode to build-up mode, but only if you know exactly which switch to flip and exactly when to flip it. Get it wrong, and you're fighting an uphill battle. Get it right, and you can actually reverse years of muscle loss in a matter of weeks. I've spent the last 3 years researching this, talking to leading experts, and following the stories of real people who've discovered this secret. What I found will shock you, inspire you, and hopefully change the way you think about your mornings forever. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly which switch to flip, but you need to watch until the very end, because making a mistake in the final step can undo all the good work you do in the beginning. It's like building a strong wall and then accidentally knocking it down with your own hands. You're going to meet Arthur, a 71-year-old retired history teacher from Chicago, who almost lost his independence forever until he discovered one simple morning routine that changed everything you will learn about the morning recovery window, a specific time period that researchers at the Boston Gerontology Institute say is your body's prime time for muscle building, and you'll get the exact step-by-step plan that Arthur used to go from struggling to walk to his mailbox to working in his garden for hours without fatigue. But most importantly, you're going to discover that the power to keep your legs strong, your balance steady, and your independence intact is already in your hands. You just need to know exactly what to do with it. So let's dive in, because your legs and your future are counting on what you learn in the next few minutes. Let me tell you about Arthur Mitchell, a man who taught American history for 43 years at Lincoln High School in suburban Chicago. Arthur wasn't just any teacher, he was the kind who made the Revolutionary War feel like it happened yesterday, who could make his students care about the Constitution like it was written specifically for them. At 71, Arthur had been retired for 6 years. He spent his days tending to the small vegetable garden behind his house, reading thick biographies of presidents, and taking morning walks with his wife Eleanor around their quiet neighborhood. They'd been married for 48 years, and these walks had become their sacred time together. No phones, no distractions, just the two of them and the changing seasons. Arthur loved those walks. He loved pointing out the different birds to Eleanor, loved discussing the books they were reading, loved the way the morning sun felt on his face. What he didn't love, and what he'd been trying to ignore for months, was how these walks were getting harder. It started small. He'd feel a little out of breath halfway around the block. His legs would feel heavy, like he was walking through thick mud instead of on solid pavement. He told himself it was just age, just the natural way of things. 71, not 21, he'd say to Eleanor when she noticed him slowing down. But one Tuesday morning in October, everything changed. Arthur was walking down the 3 steps from their back deck to the garden had done. This thousands of times, these weren't steep steps, just gentle ones he'd built himself 20 years earlier. But this time his toe caught on the edge of the bottom step. Not enough to send him flying, but enough to make him stumble forward, his arms windmilling as he tried to catch his balance. He didn't fall hard. A scraped knee, a bruised palm, nothing serious. But when he looked up, he saw Eleanor's face, and it broke his heart. She was standing in the doorway, her coffee mug still in her hands, and her eyes were filled with something he'd never seen before: fear. Not fear of the moment, but fear of what was coming. That night, lying in bed, Arthur finally said what they'd both been thinking, but were too afraid to say out loud. "Ellie," he whispered in the darkness, "my legs feel empty, like they're not really mine anymore." Eleanor reached over and took his hand. "I know, sweetheart, I've noticed. When I get up at night to use the bathroom, I have to hold on to the wall in the hallway. These legs that carried me through 43 years of teaching, that danced with you at our wedding, that chased our kids around the backyard, they feel like they belong to someone else." The silence that followed was heavy with shared worry. Arthur felt something he hadn't felt since he was a young man, afraid of being drafted, the fear of losing control over his own life. But Arthur had spent 4 decades teaching students that every problem in history had been solved by people who refused to give up. So he did what any good history teacher would do. He researched. For days, Arthur read everything he could find: medical journals, health websites, research papers. Eleanor found him at the kitchen table at 6 in the morning, his reading glasses perched on his nose, surrounded by printed articles and filled notebooks. That's when he discovered the work of Dr. Annabel Reed from the Boston Gerontology Institute. Dr. Reed had spent 15 years studying something she called the morning recovery window. The to 90 minutes after waking, when the human body is most responsive to muscle-building nutrients. In one of her papers, Dr. Reed explained that aging muscles don't just get weaker because of time. They get weaker because they stop receiving the right signals at the right times. The body is like a complex orchestra, she wrote. In our later years, we need to be more intentional about conducting the music. Arthur felt a spark of hope he hadn't felt in months. This wasn't about accepting decline. This was about understanding the science and working with his body, not against it. He found Dr. Reed's specific recommendations about the Foundation Duo, 2 simple foods that could help reset his body's morning signals. It wasn't a magic pill or an expensive supplement. It was something he could find at any grocery store, something that could fit into his and Eleanor's quiet morning routine. Arthur decided to try it. What did he have to lose? The first week, nothing dramatic happened. He ate his new breakfast, took his walks with Eleanor, tended to his garden. But somewhere around day 10, Eleanor noticed something. "Arthur," she said as they were getting ready for their morning walk, "you're standing straighter." He looked at himself in the hallway mirror. She was right. His shoulders were back. His head was up. He looked like the confident teacher who used to command a classroom, not like someone who was afraid of his own steps. By week 3, Arthur was working in his garden for 2 hours without needing to rest. By week 5, he was taking the stairs 2 at a time to get books from his upstairs study. By week 8, Eleanor stopped looking at him with worry in her eyes. Arthur had found his legs again. But more than that, he'd found something he thought was lost forever: the confidence that his body was still on his side. So, what was Arthur's secret? What was this one thing that science backs and that changed everything for a 71-year-old retired teacher from Chicago? It wasn't a single food, and it wasn't a magic bullet. It was a simple, 2-part system that Arthur discovered in Dr. Reed's research. Something she calls the Foundation Duo, followed by the Building Fuel. Now I know what you're thinking. You've heard about breakfast protein before you've been told to eat eggs, drink protein shakes, add Greek yogurt to your morning routine. But what Arthur learned, and what 99% of Americans never discover, is that your muscles can't use protein effectively if they're not prepared to receive it. Think of it this way. Imagine trying to paint a house without first priming the walls. The paint might stick temporarily, but it won't last, and it won't look right. Your muscles are the same way. They need to be primed before they can effectively use the protein you give them. That's where the Foundation Duo comes in, and I'll warn you, it's not what you expect. The first part is sweet potato. Yes, sweet potato for breakfast. Before you think Ivy lost my mind, let me explain why this works and why Dr. Reed calls it the key that unlocks your muscle cells. Sweet potatoes contain a specific type of slow-releasing carbohydrate that does something remarkable in your body during that crucial morning recovery window. Instead of spiking your blood sugar and then crashing it like regular breakfast foods do, sweet potatoes provide a steady, gentle rise in insulin that essentially opens the doors to your muscle cells. Think of insulin as a delivery truck driver. When you eat refined carbs or sugary breakfast foods, you're essentially sending out a whole fleet of frantic delivery trucks all at once. They crash into each other, create traffic jams, and most of the good stuff never makes it to where it needs to go. But sweet potato creates just 1 or 2 steady, reliable delivery trucks that know exactly where they're going. Sweet potatoes are also packed with potassium and magnesium minerals that your leg muscles desperately need to prevent cramping and maintain proper function. Arthur would simply bake a medium sweet potato the night before, store it in the refrigerator, and eat it first thing in the morning. Sometimes just cold. sometimes warmed up with a pat of butter. The second part of the foundation duo is mineral salt, not table salt. We're talking about real unprocessed salt, like Redmond, real salt, or Celtic sea salt. This isn't about sodium. This is about the 80-plus trace minerals that your body uses for hundreds of cellular functions, especially in your muscles. When you sleep for 8 to 10 hours, you become naturally dehydrated and your mineral levels drop. Your muscles are like sponges that have dried out overnight before they can absorb anything useful. They need to be rehydrated with the right minerals. Arthur would dissolve a quarter teaspoon of mineral salt in a glass of warm water and drink it about 10 minutes before eating his sweet potato. Now, once you've laid this foundation, you're ready for the building fuel, the protein that actually rebuilds your muscle tissue. Dr. Reed's research shows that after age 60, your body needs a higher concentration of protein at one time to trigger muscle building, rather than smaller amounts spread throughout the day. She calls this reaching your leucine threshold. Leucine being the specific amino acid that tells your muscles to start growing instead of shrinking. Arthur had 3 choices for his building fuel, and you do too. Pick the one that appeals to you most, because consistency matters more than perfection. The gold standard option is 2 pasture-raised eggs, either hard-boiled or gently scrambled, in a little olive oil. Eggs contain the highest quality protein available with all the essential amino acids in perfect proportions. The key is the egg yolks. They're packed with leucine and healthy fats that help your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins. The creamy powerhouse option is 1 cup of plain full-fat Greek yogurt. Not the flavored kinds loaded with sugar, but plain Greek yogurt that you can sweeten yourself with a drizzle of honey or fresh berries. Greek yogurt contains casein protein, which digests slowly and provides your muscles with amino acids for hours after you eat it. The Deep Sea Defender option is a small piece of wild-caught salmon about the size of your palm. Yes, fish for breakfast might sound unusual, but salmon provides not just high-quality protein, but also omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation in your muscles and joints. Here's the timing that makes all the difference. Eat your sweet potato and mineral salt first. Wait about 15 to 20 minutes, then have your protein choice. This timing allows the foundation duo to prime your system before the building fuel arrives. Arthur found that this simple sequence, sweet potato, mineral salt, wait 20 minutes, then eggs, became as natural as brushing his teeth. He'd prepare everything the night before, so his mornings were effortless. The whole process takes about 30 minutes, including the waiting time. 30 minutes that gave Arthur back his confidence, his independence, and his joy in simple activities like gardening and walking with Eleanor. But here's what's crucial. This isn't just about one meal. This is about sending a daily signal to your body that you're committed to building, not breaking down. Every morning, you do this. You're essentially voting for strength over weakness, independence over dependence, confidence over fear. The science is clear. The method is simple, and the results speak for themselves. Arthur went from struggling with 3 steps to working in his garden for hours. But as you'll see in a moment, maintaining this routine requires avoiding some common mistakes that could sabotage everything you're working toward. You now have the plan that worked for Arthur. But having a plan and maintaining it are 2 very different things. The difference between temporary improvement and lasting change comes down to what you do with this knowledge in the weeks and months ahead. Let me share something that Maria Gonzalez from Austin, Texas wrote to us last month. At 73, Maria had been following Arthur's morning routine for 6 weeks when she wrote, "I've been doing the sweet potato and eggs every morning, and I feel stronger than I have in years. But I almost sabotaged everything by making one common mistake that I didn't even realize was a mistake. Maria was talking about what she was drinking with her breakfast and what she was eating later in the morning. You see, you can do everything right with the foundation duo and building fuel. But if you're consuming certain healthy foods alongside them, you might be unknowingly blocking your body's ability to build muscle. The three biggest saboteurs are foods that most people consider healthy breakfast additions. I'll be revealing exactly what these are in my next video 3. Healthy breakfast foods that are secretly destroying senior muscle mass. You'll be shocked when you learn what number 2 is. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss this crucial information. But today, let's focus on setting you up for success with 3 simple morning habits that cost nothing and take less than 5 minutes total. First, start with warm water. 10 minutes before eating anything, drink a glass of warm water. Not hot, not cold, but comfortably warm. This gently awakens your digestive system after the night's fast and prepares your stomach to properly process the nutrients you're about to give it. Arthur kept a thermos of warm water by his bedside so he could drink it as soon as he woke up. Second, try the 1-minute balance stand. While your sweet potato is warming up or while you're waiting the 20 minutes between your foundation duo and building fuel practice, standing on one foot for 30 seconds, then switch to the other foot for 30 seconds. This simple exercise activates the neural pathways between your brain and your leg muscles, essentially waking up the communication system that keeps you steady and strong. Third practice, intentional breathing. Before you even get out of bed, sit up. Put your feet flat on the floor and take 3 deep, slow breaths. This isn't meditation or anything complicated. It's just giving your body a moment to transition from sleep to wakefulness. Arthur found that this simple practice made him feel more alert and ready to start his day with purpose. These 3 habits create a gentle morning ritual that supports your new breakfast routine. They help bridge the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it consistently. Remember, we're not trying to turn back the clock. We're working with your body as it is today, giving it exactly what it needs to maintain and build strength. Every morning you follow this routine. You're investing in your future self, the person who will still be walking, confidently gardening, actively, and living independently years from now. Your legs are your freedom. They're what allow you to walk to your mailbox without worry, to climb stairs without hesitation, to dance with your spouse, to chase your grandchildren, to live life on your own terms. Don't let them slip away without a fight. The research is solid, the method is proven, and the choice is yours. Arthur made his choice on that October morning when he stumbled on his own back steps. Maria made her choice when she decided that 73 was too young to feel old. Thousands of others have made this choice and discovered that age is just a number when you know how to work with your body instead of against it. Now it's your turn to make a choice. If you found value in today's information, do me a favor and do something for yourself and for this community. Write in the comments below, "I will protect my legs." Let's create a community of people who refuse to accept weakness as inevitable, who choose to take action while they still can. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Thank you for caring enough about your health to seek out information that could change your life. Take care of yourself. Trust in your body's ability to respond to good care. And I'll see you in the next video where, well, talk about those hidden breakfast saboteurs that could undo all your good work. Your legs are counting on you. Your future self is counting on you. And I believe in your ability to take this knowledge and turn it into lasting strength and independence.